on WATN in high definition. It's Local 24 this week with Brandon Achilles.
Well, good Sunday morning and welcome to another edition of Local 24 this week. I'm Katina Rankin, in for Brandon Achilles. You know, starting Monday, the Tennessee Black Caucus of State Legislators is beginning a Tennessee Tour Town Hall Series. It kicks off in Memphis at the National Civil Rights Museum, and State Representative and Chair of the Tennessee Black Caucus of State Legislators, Ramesh Aghdari, is here with us. She's going to talk about it right off the bat. I want to know what you guys hope to accomplish by having these town halls.
All right, well, you know, we're excited. We want to be able to reach people across the state, not just in urban areas, but also tackle rural areas. We want to kind of explain to them, take the state house to the people. So explain to them exactly what happened during our legislative session, some of the victories, whether things that we won or things that we were able to at least defeat, and then get feedback from them. Our whole agenda for the 2018 session is going to be about what the people want. We work for them. So we want to find out what they need and how we can translate that into our legislative agenda.
What do you hope to hear from them?
You know, I hope to hear how they feel truly about the things that we are doing, how they feel about education, how they feel about criminal justice reform. Do they feel like we're doing enough with infrastructure development, with economic development, just anything? I mean, all levels. You never know when you start engaging with folks exactly what's making life more difficult for them or what they really like about what we're doing.
All across the country at other town halls, we've been hearing about health care and how that is so important to people. Do you think you'll hear a lot about that, or have people already been contacting you about that?
They have, because there's uncertainty on what's going to happen on a federal level. It's kind of put a halt on any sort of real plan to expand Medicaid in the state. We're hoping, though, as they try and stabilize a little bit on a federal level, maybe our state will revisit Medicaid expansion. So that's certainly something that we're open to hearing about and seeing ways that we can advocate for it for the people.
I see the excitement in your eyes. Tell me about the stops. Where will you be?
We're going to be in Memphis, Nashville, Brownsville, Knoxville, and Chattanooga. We're going to do a rural area in East Tennessee and then a rural area right outside of Nashville. So, I mean, it's going to be great. We have some special check presentations, money we were able to get allocated in the budget for some black museums. We're going to do it for some education sites. So it's going to be pretty exciting, and we hope that people will come out and really just engage directly with their elected officials.
Amazing about these museums. Tell me more.
Well, you know, Governor Haslam made a commitment to help African-American museums across the state. So we're looking at a couple of smaller museums in Memphis. We're looking at the Withers Collection. We're looking at the Allen White School in West Tennessee. We're looking at Mamie Carmichael in East Tennessee. So these are all traditional African-American schools or cultural centers that we're either trying to boost up or help get started on actually really opening.
Oh, should be really fun. I know about the Withers Museum. They have one, you know, right down on Bill Street. Amazing photographs that were taken. A lot of history inside of that. I want to shift just a little bit now, because there are 10 bills that people should know about that Democrats passed. One was yours.
Yes.
And we were talking about expungement fees or expunction fees. And the fee goes down from nearly $400 to almost $200.
Right.
Tell me why that was important to you.
Well, when the legislation was first passed to allow expunctions, people anticipated that thousands of people would get it done. The fee was a barrier. We were discovering that only maybe about 900 people were getting their records expunged per year, even though thousands were eligible across the state. So it was important to me to reduce the fee to make it more accessible. A lot of people said, well, if you could pay less than $500 to get your life back, why not do it? But the bottom line is, if you don't have a job or access to money, then it's impossible. And so that's what we want to do. Okay, we also want to talk about G.A. Hardaway, because I believe that he had a bill that was very similar to yours that deals with, you know, people who have been jailed becoming productive citizens. Exactly what was his bill trying to capture? I think what his bill is doing, he had a couple of different criminal justice bills, but I think what his bill actually did was kind of release records. If there was some sort of situation where it was investigated, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation actually investigated the crime, he wants to make sure there's complete transparency so people can see exactly what happened. And it kind of yields back to the Darius Stewart situation. Okay, let's talk about Antonio Touche Parkinson's bill. His dealt with education and giving counselors the ability to get children some mental health assessments. Why is that a key component that you all felt needed to be passed? It's really important because that's kind of that bridge to getting the child the help that they need. It has numerous effects. One, it's going to get them in a better situation where they can learn and be in a better environment. Two, it hopefully will reduce their contact with the criminal justice system. It was really important for guidance counselors to be able to make that next step to say, hey, I cannot give that person the help they need, but we need that child to get help. So, yeah.
And then Representative G.A. Hardaway, I believe that he dealt with some death benefits when it comes to law enforcement officers. Can you tell us more about that bill?
He did. It was something that he really pushed, and he's been pushing it for a couple of years, but I think it increased the death benefits to $25,000 for those that were injured or killed, the ones that were killed out in the field. And so it had bipartisan support. I know it had significant support from our finance chair, which is always a good thing, but he pushed it on through.
Okay, yeah. and people at home, they can read all about these bills on the Facebook page of the Tennessee Democrats.
Yes.
And also, if they want to know about the town halls that you all will be doing, we're going to post those sites and the dates and the times on our website. All you're going to have to do is go to localmemphis.com.
All right.
Always a pleasure to see you.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you.
Well, coming up next, I sit down with Shelby County Commissioner Terry Rowland, and we're talking pill pushers and school scandal. Trust me, you'll want to hear what he has to say. Stick around.
All right, let's get started. You're both over 50?
Yes.
Okay, that'll cost you.
Why?
The new health care bill in Congress. If you're over 50, insurance companies can charge you 5 times more. It's an age tax. Any pre-existing conditions?
I have asthma.
Okay, well, insurers can charge thousands more for that. This is going to be a big bill.
Tell Senator Corker, vote no on the health care bill.
Your story begins the moment you enroll at Concord to become a surgical technologist. In as few as 12 months, you will be on your way to a career that puts you on the front lines of healthcare. Through real-world learning experiences that challenge and reward you, you will be ready for an in-demand profession that will change your life and the lives of people in your community. Your story starts now, so enroll today at concord.edu. Opportunity awaits.
I'm Joy Bauer, and as a nutritionist, I know probiotics can often help. Try Digestive Advantage. It's tougher than your stomach's harsh environment, so it survives 100 times better than the leading probiotic.
Also in chocolate, Probiotic Bites.
It's hard work and sacrifice, and never even thinking twice, and it's waving at people you don't know. It's rock, blues, and barbecue, all Memphis spirit through and through. It's the Mid-South values we hold. Local is your neighbor, local is your friends, local is the place you've always been. Local 24, we're local every day.
24 this week with Brandon Achilles.
Well, welcome back. My guest now is Shelby County Commissioner Terry Rowland. Let's go ahead and let's start with this. The Shelby County Schools grading scandal, as some are calling it. What was your first reaction?
I thought that they had this put to bed. I thought it, you know, they put Mr. Mackin over Ronnie. They put him over there because he's a, you know, he's a bulldog. He can find out things that's been going on, kind of to investigate this. And he found out all this information, and then they just blew him off. Didn't really want to believe it. I guess you know, but I can tell you that what I've seen of the evidence, it's damning. And I've suggested to Mr. Mackin, he's already got him an attorney now. And I've suggested that he carry it to the new U.S. attorney to let a fresh set of eyes. Nothing against these people that they hired. I mean, Mr. Stanton's a good friend of mine, and I trust him and everything. But to be transparent, you know, they go to, you know, they went to school together, and some of the people, and they go to church together. So I really think that Mr. Rankin did the right thing by seeking counsel, and by letting the new U.S. attorney coming in that's got fresh eyes look at this.
Okay, so you said what you saw thus far, the evidence is damning.
Right.
What is that evidence?
I can't tell you. I can tell you this, that the evidence will speak for itself. I can tell you that There's proof of the changing of grades. I can say that. I can tell you that there's video, there's tapes, there's 6 pages of evidence.
Amazing.
Amazing.
What should happen now?
I think that, I really think there might be some criminal charges coming out of this. That's the reason why I told him that I would suggest that he send it to the new U.S. attorney coming in. Nothing against the other folks that they've hired, but it's not right for them to hire somebody to investigate themselves. I sent a letter up to Candace McQueen, the education commissioner, and I can't believe that the state is allowing this. And it's and the state has some fault in this too. Actually, I'm going to tell you, it's the culture. What it is, these people are pressured into performing. Okay, so if a teacher has a kid that fails, well, the principal pressures them to pass them. And then above them, I guess somebody at the board pressures them. And I will say this, the school system was probably paid a lot of money by the state for kids that actually weren't at school.
That's amazing. We're getting a lot of breaking news coming out of this. I know you realize that you cannot give us the evidence that you know about, the 6 pages that we talked about. But, you know, where does the fault really lie? You mentioned the state, but where does it lie?
Well, I think a lot of it's going to lie at the foot of the administration for not getting on this quicker. And if you look back at some of the letters and some of the exchanges between the state and Shelby County schools, I mean, there was a lot of time in there. Where were these people while he was making these accusations and telling them what was going on?
Because I believe the superintendent said that this investigation of Tresvant actually started from the state back in November and is ongoing.
Well, how come he only signed the letter in April?
Have you asked him?
No, and so the reason I haven't asked him is because I'm part of the funding body. I need to be completely away from this. It needs to be somebody, a third party, that, like I said, that can give a fair assessment.
You know, I can't get off this subject without going back to this. You said that you believe that there could be some criminal charges. What type?
Well, without giving the information, I couldn't go into that, but I can tell you there was some malfeasance, money coming up missing. They even paid two of the kids to spray paint his car. Now, and they came back and told, hey, the administrators paid us to do this.
Should heads roll?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think what you're going to find out, it's not just in Tresvant School. I've had teachers and principals and stuff come forward, and those principals and teachers don't look like me. So this is not a racial thing, and I want this to get out there quick, because I don't want them to start hollering and throwing the race card around, because what that does, it delineates when something happens when it is racial. It takes away, you see what I'm saying? When they use that for an excuse. This cuts across party lines. It cuts across, I mean, it's wide.
You know, we have another subject that we have to talk about. I still have to talk about this, though. Mackin said that there are some students, athletes, that are in college now who do not deserve to be there because of their grades. From the information, the evidence that you're talking about that you have seen, is this true?
Absolutely.
So there's no doubt in your mind that some type of wrongdoing took place?
Absolutely. And for people to say that they didn't know, I do not accept that at all.
Well, this is one to follow. I hope you will keep us up to speed. But I do want to go ahead and talk about this. Shelby County Commissioners, they passed a 3-cent property tax, right?
Right.
What do commissioners plan to do to make up that revenue?
Well, see, we're in a reassessment year. So your assessments come in, you know, higher. But the state says you can't have a windfall of tax money. So we have to go take the tax rate down. The tax rate probably should have been around 413, okay? We wanted to go, we're doing very well in the county. We got a huge surplus. The There's no reason why in the world that we can't give some of this money back to the people of Shelby County. This is very important when it goes to being able to compete with the counties around us. At some point, we've got to go down on our property tax. Look, we're subsidizing everything. The state doesn't send us enough money for education. They only send 60% of what they're supposed to send. 40% of it we're having to put up back on the taxpayers' back.
Well, I know Luttrell said that he wanted some of this money to go towards, you know, the health services and also education, and then hiring some people that hadn't been hired over years, and so there are some positions that need to be filled.
Right.
I'm going to go over my time with you because it was such a bombshell talking with you about this school scandal, but I cannot let you go without you talking about wanting to sue pharmaceutical companies for opioid use.
Right.
Why is this necessary?
Out of sight, out of mind, what a lot of people don't know is the resources that Shelby County is going through and using to combat this opioid epidemic. It's done got out of an epidemic. It's a pandemic now. And we could go on days of what caused it, but what we're doing, I mean, it's stretching our resources, and really in the human department, for instance, let me just go back. A lot of these cases was where we're having to take kids out of homes, and we're running out of foster care places.
How much have you spent dealing with this?
Millions. I've got the health department and the sheriff department. I've got every department going back now and coming up with a strong total, a figure that we can use, because it's, I mean, from the Narcan that the officers have to carry every day, and that stuff is expensive.
Really quickly, I am totally out of time. Do you really believe that these pharmaceutical companies force these doctors to be pill pushers?
Absolutely. I think what they did, they made it easy for them. I mean, if you've been into a doctor's office and seen a pharmacy rep in there, okay, well, I mean, they're not just in there for nothing. What they're doing is they're trying to get the doctors to prescribe the patients their medicines.
Very interesting. Be interesting to see what the pharmaceutical companies will have to say to how you believe and how you think on that.
Right.
Thank you so much for joining us. Always a pleasure. Okay. Well, our roundtable with Local 24's Mike Matthews and the new Tri-State Defenders owner and publisher, Burnell Smith, is next. Stay with us. It's going to be just as lively a discussion as this one.
Sleep Cheap is having their Sell of the Year event right now. The Queen mattress set for $199, twins starting at $69, and even greater savings on king sizes. Get 60% off Serta and Sealy bedding during the Sell of the Year event. No credit checks and everyone's approved.
Trust the Marshall Brothers with your next home improvement project.
Replacement windows. Buy 3 windows and get 1 free. Beautiful iron entry doors starting at $2,995 installed. Roofing and siding only 15% above cost guaranteed.
We offer low-interest financing for 84 months. Call 901-356-4137 or visit MarshallBrothersNow.com for your free in-home estimate.
Come on, you can do it.
Dogs just won't quit. Neither does Frontline. That's why there's Frontline Gold. With its easy applicator, Frontline Gold delivers powerful protection that doesn't quit for a full 30 days. Its triple action formula is relentless at killing fleas and ticks. Frontline Gold, the latest innovation from the maker of Frontline Plus. For persistent protection you can trust.
Good boy.
Go for the gold. Frontline Gold. Available at your vet.
Emmanuel Lutheran, preparing the next generation for our expanding future. We believe in faith, family, and the ever-evolving future. As jobs and science increase, children need to be more prepared in the workforce. Now, Emmanuel Lutheran will be the first in Tennessee to have a STEM Smart Lab, engaging the next generation and preparing them for the future of creative engineering. Call and schedule a tour today or visit us online. Emmanuel Lutheran, empowering students academically through Christian living.
Sleep Cheap is having their Sell of the Year event right now. The Queen mattress set for $199, twins starting at $69, and even greater savings on king sizes. Get 60% off Serta and Sealy bedding during the Sell of the Year event. No credit checks and everyone's approved.
You're watching Local 24 this week with Brandon Achilles.
Well, welcome back to Local 24 this week, and our panel's focus today is on the investigation into allegations of grade tampering at Tresvant High School, as well as the independent audit of grades at all Shelby County schools. And joining me this morning is the new Tri-State Defender's owner and publisher, Burnell Smith. Thank you so much for being here.
Glad to be here, Katina.
And of course, my fabulous colleague, Local 24's Mike Matthews. I am so looking forward to this discussion because we're going to start off with this grading scandal. Last segment, you heard Terry Rowland dropping some bombshells about what he says is some damning information, 6 pages. Where do you guys stand on this, and what do you think is going to happen?
Well, I mean, certainly there's already started an investigation. I think will lead to more investigations. And possibly, I mean, there are some real serious allegations in that 6-page letter. Wow, I mean, without naming names, I mean, he really revealed a lot of things that speak to a culture and climate potentially within the district that could really lead to some heads rolling.
Yeah, that's what he said. He said that he thought some heads would roll, and he thought criminal charges were on their way too.
This is bad. There's no other word to get around this. This is bad, and we're just scratching the surface on it right now. As the more things come up, as more things develop, I think this is going to get worse and worse. As far as what it leads to, this could lead to a massive shakeup in the Shelby County school system, which have been pretty stable. It's been a pretty stable system since its inception a few years ago. This one really messes things up, and it's about time that they do check into it. If any of these allegations are accurate, they need to make some changes.
Where does the fault lie?
Yeah, well, I mean, because you really have to look at it. I mean, you got a history of, you got Memphis City Schools, you got the sort of merger of Shelby County and Memphis, and so over the years, I think particularly with this Superintendent Hobson, he's had to really focus on how we merge these districts and some of these other things. So it's really kind of hard to say if it was a culture that was created or even fostered under his leadership, but clearly he's going to have to take some of the blame for allowing that culture to exist, even if it was due to some of the folks that was underneath, his administration. I mean, I think that there's going to be a lot of blame to go around, but clearly, normally when stuff like this happens, the blame hits the top.
Did Mackin wait too late to come forward when he knew he was resigning? I know he came out before, but do you think he waited too late to give the damning information, as Terry Rowland said?
I wish he came out earlier. That said, no, this is going to have its effect no matter when he came out with it. And because there was this little smoke, I think already people see a lot of fire going on underneath this. His comments and allegations were strong. It goes, remember, as Burnell was saying, this is a school system that has evolved from the old Memphis City school system where there were always allegations of financial impropriety and somebody was doing something wrong. So if you brought that system over here into the Memphis, to Shelby County schools, I mean, they're in the same building that the Memphis City schools used to be in, for example, the administration is. If they brought the same problems, the same techniques, anything like that, this will be the first time, A, that we find out about it, and secondly, it'll cause an earthquake over there.
Going to throw it out here. Should they get rid of the entire administration and start over, or should they allow them to fix it?
Well, I think
if the allegations are true.
Yeah, I mean, one is I think we're too early to determine if the allegations are true or not, what allegations have merit and which ones don't, because there is a measure, I think, of sour grapes based on how this all got put on the table, but it deserves investigation, and to the degree that there are some findings that are true, then they deserve to be dealt with. But I will say this, the district is at a very critical juncture. The fiscal ship has been righted, and to a degree, some of the achievements in terms of what's been done with the innovation zone and some other things. And so to sort of overturn the apple cart at this particular point, I think may have more damning effects. And so I think you really got to weigh the balance of, making those changes versus, what's the progress is.
Well, let's talk about, if this is true, who it really hurts. It really hurts the children, because Mackin said that there are student athletes that are in college who don't deserve to be there. Could this have a trickle-down effect to where those colleges start looking at those grades if they aren't correct?
Let's not kid ourselves. There are plenty of student athletes over the last 30, 40 years who went to college that didn't deserve to be in there, but they knew how to catch a ball, they knew how to throw a ball, they could sink a three-pointer.
Right. As the young people say, come through, Mike.
You know, so yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
I would not blame I would not lay the blame of that on the Shelby County school system or any other school system for that matter. I mean, the collegiate athletic system is something altogether different. So I mean, I think if there's there's always going to be a measure of high-performing athletes that don't necessarily have the academic capacity that makes it into the system.
Well, let's just be honest. Both of you all have been here for years, for ages. Is the Shelby County school system a good school system?
I think it's better than it was, which, quite frankly, is a major accomplishment because for years Memphis City schools limped along. I think Shelby County schools are better than what it was. I think Dorsey Hobson's done a pretty good job to this point. Okay, now we have to watch, but to this point, he's done a pretty darn good job with it. But there have been scandals here. You go back, what, almost 20 years to Albert Means, football player for Treasant, who was paid, whose coaches were paid to make sure that Albert Means went to Alabama and not other schools. That shook the rafters here quite a bit when that scandal came out, and that had been going on in Memphis high school for a while. So there's always been little things happening. But this one is going to, I think, blow them all out of the water.
Okay, we have about 30 seconds left. Final
I'll just say it's an improving district. There's room for more improvement. There are pockets of academic excellence and excellence within. I don't want to discount the teachers and administrators that are doing a phenomenal job in this district. They deserve kudos. They don't deserve to be colored by this particular potential scandal. But there's still work and improvement to be had.
Well, let's just be honest. This is just like with the White House. More and more information is getting leaked out. The same is happening with the Shelby County school system. So we all have to sit back and wait until this investigation is done to find out exactly what is happening.
Absolutely.
Always a pleasure to have you both on and to see you both. Thank you much. We're back in a few minutes.
Traditional aerosols contain a lot of water, which falls down and spoils the experience. New Airwick Pure has 9 times more fragrance and less water. Experience great fragrance with less wet spray. Airwick Pure, more fragrance, less wet spray.
Your journey to an exciting growing field of diagnostic healthcare starts here. With Concord's Radiologic Technology degree program, you can realize your career goals in as few as 20 months. Concord prepares you for a career as a radiologic technologist through real-world training. Play a vital role in supporting the healthcare challenges of your community by meeting the diagnostic needs of your patients. Call today to learn more about Concord's Rad Tech program. Opportunity awaits at concord.edu.
Do you suffer from frequent migraine headaches? Ever wonder if your migraine medication is really the best option for you? CNS Healthcare is seeking people with frequent migraine headaches to participate in important migraine headache research that is happening now in the Memphis area. There are many new and improved migraine treatments available. Compensation of $400 to $1,000 is provided. Give a new migraine treatment a try at no cost. Call CNS Healthcare today.
Year after year, just one station is certified as the Mid-South's most accurate forecast. The local storm team, only on Local 24. For a forecast more than 20% more accurate than other Memphis stations. Turn to the local storm team, only on Local 24 News.
I'm Brandon Artilles.
And I'm Katina Rankin. See the difference only on Local 24 News.
Every day, in every newscast, Local 24 News is tracking local stories that matter to you.
Alerting you with the facts.
Preparing you for what's ahead.
And protecting you from the elements with the local storm team's most accurate forecast first.
See the difference on Local 24 News every day in every newscast.
Local 24 News. We're local every day. Well, I would like to thank my guests, State Representative Ramesh Akbari, new Tri-State Defenders Burnell Smith and Mike Matthews, plus Shelby County Commissioner Terry Rowland. Brandon Artilles will be back next Sunday. I'm Katina Rankin for Local 24 This Week. Have a great day.